You ever feel like your career is just being tossed around by these waves of change you can't control? Well, in this explainer, we're diving into Ardeshir Shojai's guide on how to become the lighthouse in that storm. We're going to explore how you can stop just reacting to all the chaos and actually start, strategically building the career you really want.
So, I want you to think about your own career path for a second. Is it a nice, neat straight line? Or does it look a little more like this tangled web? Yeah, for most of us, especially if you're in tech, it's definitely the web. That old, predictable career ladder, it feels like a relic from another time, doesn't it? And that is the big challenge we're tackling today. How do you find clarity in all this complexity? Okay, so our first step is to really get a handle on the chaos itself. Before you can navigate a storm, you've got to understand the winds and the currents, right? So what exactly is making the modern career landscape so turbulent?
All right, here's the fundamental truth of it all. The old career ladder is gone. It's broken. The whole idea of mastering one skill and then just coasting for 40 years, that's over. The new game is all about leaving that broken ladder behind and learning how to ride the wave of change. It's all about constant adaptation and, really, reinvention.
So, what's driving all this disruption? Well, it's really three big forces at play. First up, you've got AI, which is totally reshaping jobs we used to think were safe. Second, there's just this relentless pace of new tech, new frameworks, new platforms, new tools popping up all the time. And third, market demands are changing faster than ever before. It's kind of like a perfect storm of uncertainty. But, as we're about to see, it's also a huge sea of opportunity.
Okay, so we've kind of defined the chaos. Now, how do we prepare for it? Well, it doesn't start with learning a new skill or getting another certification. Nope, it starts right here, between your ears. It all starts with your mindset.
And this perfectly illustrates the two ways you can look at your abilities, a concept that comes from the psychologist Carol Dweck. On one side, you've got the fixed mindset. It's like a brick wall. It sees any challenge as a threat. But on the other side, you have the growth mindset, the little sprout. It sees a challenge as a chance to grow. So in a world that's constantly changing, which one do you think is the key to actually thriving? Yeah, it's all about believing you can adapt and grow.
And this quote, man, it just nails the next layer of the mindset, emotional resilience. It is so easy to get overwhelmed and fall into that analysis paralysis trap, right? Where you just overthink everything. The real key is to be critical and aware, but not to let all those what-if scenarios just freeze you in place. You've got to find that sweet spot where you're being strategic, but you're not stagnant.
All right, so with the right mindset in place, we can finally move from the why to the how. Let's get practical. Let's talk about building a personal system that actually brings some structure and focus to all that daily chaos.
Okay, here's a really practical gem from the author. His personal spin on the Pomodoro technique. He actually ditches the classic 25-minute work, 5-minute break thing. Instead, he does 50 minutes of deep, focused work, followed by a 10-minute break. But, and this is the most important part, that break has to be a real break. That means no scrolling on your phone. You have to actually get up, maybe look out a window, and just reset your brain. That right there is the secret to keeping your performance high all day long.
And this is where it gets really fun. The author shares some of his own personal habits that might seem a little quirky, but they have a huge impact. For example, eating the same breakfast every single day, that's one less decision you have to make, which saves your brain power for stuff that actually matters. Biking to work? That's your exercise, your commute, and your creative thinking time all rolled into one. See, these aren't just random quirks. They are deliberate, strategic choices he makes to optimize his day.
So all these little habits, they build up into this really powerful concept the author calls healthy addictions. Now, I know what you're thinking. Addiction's usually a pretty negative word, right? But what if we could harness that same intense drive for something incredibly positive?
So the whole idea of a healthy addiction is about reframing that word. It's a behavior or a passion that you come back to again and again, not because you have to, but because it genuinely fuels your growth and your well-being. Think of it like a passion that just keeps pushing you forward. So what does this look like in the real world? Well, the book gives 3 perfect examples. How about being addicted to learning? That's what keeps you relevant. Or an addiction to self-development. That's how you become the best possible version of yourself. And that powerful drive to just complete tasks and achieve goals, that's the engine that turns your ideas into reality. But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? The absolute key here is balance. Without it, even these super positive drives can lead you straight to burnout.
That thirst for knowledge, it can easily become analysis paralysis. That drive for productivity, that can turn into workaholism. So things like self-care, rest, and setting boundaries, they're not optional. They're what keep these healthy addictions actually healthy.
Okay, let's recap. We've got our mindset right. We've got our productivity systems. We have our healthy drives in check. Now, it's time to zoom out. How do we apply all this stuff to strategically navigate a really competitive market?
The author's point here is that thriving in a packed market isn't about having just one great idea. It's about being able to see the entire chessboard. And this path shows us exactly how to do that. You start by analyzing trends, what's hot, what's not. Then you figure out how to align your skills with what people actually need. After that, you integrate all the different pieces, your product, your marketing, your data, into one cohesive strategy. And finally, you execute, making smart, data-driven decisions instead of just guessing.
And that right there brings us to the core message of this entire explainer. This quote just says it all. Don't fight the chaos. Don't sit around waiting for things to calm down, because they won't. You have to accept that chaos is the new normal. And then, smack in the middle of it all, you deliberately build your own structure. Your mindset, your habits, your strategy, that's your structure.
So, I'll leave you with this one question. After everything we've talked about today, from mindset and quirky habits all the way to grand strategy, what is the one small actionable thing you can do today? What's going to be the very first brick you lay down to build your new structure?